Hello my dear students, in this particular lecture we will be discussing about the different methods of quadrant operation related to quadrant operation and the forward motoring, forward braking, reverse motoring, reverse braking. All these things we are going to observe in this particular lecture. So in the previous lectures we just had an introduction about DC motor drives, and there we have assessed or rather analyzed the advantages, disadvantages, then the suitability, the rating, the torque characteristics, the load requirements, everything we have analyzed over there. And in this particular lecture we will be studying the different modes of operation with some level of introduction and some conception. So let us proceed with the topics. So as you can see that with the help of power electronic devices, what we can do is we can make the voltage can be of two types. One is AC or the alternating voltage, and another is DC, which is the direct voltage. So these are the two types of voltage or supply which are available with us, and mostly commercially rather we will be dealing with the AC systems rather than the DC systems. So before the motor or a DC motor, it is going to accept only this, and in order to control the speed, this VDC that should be made variable. So now what we are going to do is, here we are just displaying or rather showing a separately excited DC drive. Why separately excited? Because the armature circuit is different and the field circuit is different. But the problem is the supply which is available with us, it is AC supply. So why two supplies? It may be drawn from a single supply also, because we have number one, the armature system or the armature circuit, and number two, we have the field circuit. So in a separately excited DC machine, the other DC motor in this particular case, the armature circuit is different and the field circuit, it is also different. But commercially we are only having a AC supply. If you say single phase, then it is a 230 volt 50 hertz supply. But what output, or rather what type of acceptable inputs will be accepted by the machine, that is DC. But we are having AC, so we should use a device which can convert from AC to DC, and that is nothing but a rectifier. That is nothing but a rectifier. Now this is a very common sense thing, because obviously we will use a rectifier when we want to convert from AC to DC. But here what is very much important, that is this word controlled. This is the most important word. So this controlled rectifier is required. That means the output voltage, that is V0, of the rectifier that should be a function of the firing angle, which is alpha. That means you have to use phase controlled devices, that is SCRs in the rectifier, because the question of firing angle is always associated with the presence of SCR. So your rectifier should be an SCR based rectifier, rather than it is called phase controlled rectifier, PCR, phase controlled rectifier. So now, by providing proper gate pulses, this is the gate terminal, by giving or providing proper gate pulses, you will be able to control this alpha, that is the firing angle. So basically you are just controlling, or rather converting, a fixed AC supply to a DC supply. That every rectifier does. A fixed AC supply to a fixed DC supply. Not only you are doing this, but you are making this fixed as variable by the help of your SCRs, or rather if it is a full wave, it is a SCR bridge rather. There are two configurations. One is the B2 arrangement, another is the M2 arrangement. M2 is the midpoint type of rectifiers and B2 is the bridge type rectifiers. So not only you are converting an AC, a fixed AC, to DC, but you are also making the DC variable. That is our point of concern. That means you can control the output voltage level of the rectifier. That means this particular voltage, which is V0, say RECT. This V0 RECT you are making variable, and which is not only giving you a controllability over the device or the system, you are getting some flexibility also, because by varying the firing angle, you can not only control the speed of the motor drive, but you can also control the nature, maybe not only nature, you can control the speed in a precise way, in a precise manner. More you can fine tune this alpha, more you can control the or fine tune this output voltage. This is our point of concern. So as this V0 is a function of alpha, so now let us do a recap again. In the previous lecture, what was the speed? Your speed was equal to V0 or Vs rather minus IARA by KIF. So basically, you see, for the armature circuit, you are using a controlled rectifier. So basically here your Vs, which is the supply voltage, so if this is Vs, it becomes a function of alpha. Actually it will be V0 because it is converted from Vs to V0. So it is a function of alpha. And not only that, what about your Vf, that is the field voltage? In this particular area, what about your Vf? Your Vf should also be a function of, say, alpha dash, because you see here also you have to convert the AC to DC for the field circuit. So what about the speed equation? Your speed equation is equal to function of alpha minus IARA by K times, if your Vf is a function of alpha, then If equal to F by alpha dash by Rf. So you can directly substitute the value of If over here. So it will become F of alpha dash by Rf. So provided you are keeping the resistance of your field circuit constant, obviously the armature resistance will also be constant. So the speed is equal to a function of what? Alpha and alpha dash. Now this is a very unique equation. This is something which needs to be comprehended by heart rather. That means the control of speed in a DC drive is dependent on the firing angles of the two controlled rectifiers. That means your N is variable if your alpha and alpha dash, they are variable. More fine tune you can do this alpha, more this speed can be fine tuned. Rather, this is a, I will just erase all these things. This is a controlled rectifier fed drive. Now, here, this one is a chopper fed drive. That means I have just introduced a second stage in the armature circuit to have more level of controllability. To have more level of controllability. How? You see, Here, this is stage 1. This is stage 2. So your output of the rectifier is a function of alpha, or rather it was a function of alpha in this case. So here it is a function of alpha. And for the field, it was a function of alpha dash. Now when you are introducing in stage 2, that is the second stage, a DC to DC converter, here you are also employing thyristor. And let the firing angle of that thyristor, it is given by alpha double dash. So your output voltage of the chopper is a function of what? Alpha double dash. And what about this input? This input is the output of the rectifier. And what is the output of the rectifier a function of? It is a function of alpha. So your chopper output is a function of alpha double dash and alpha. So now, again, if you remember the speed equation, the speed is equal to a function of alpha for this one, alpha dash for this one, and alpha double dash for this one. So your speed is now a function of, I will just rewrite this again. Your speed is a function of alpha, alpha dash and alpha double dash. So you see that by increasing the number of stages, I am making this speed more and more controllable, more and more parameter dependent. What is the dependent parameter? This firing angles. So by introducing a set of firing angles, you are basically controlling the speed of your drive system. But there is a problem. What type of problem? The more you increase the number of stages, so here the number of stages, n stage, if I show this as the variable, if this is equal to 2, let us say you increase it to 3 or maybe 4 or maybe 5. So more you increase the number of stages, what will happen? There will be power loss associated with each of these stages. So it will be P loss 1 for stage 1, P loss 2 for stage 2, and for the nth stage it should be P loss n. So the total loss of your system will increase as you increase the number of stages. So if your P loss total gets higher and higher, what about your efficiency? Your efficiency will be power output by power input. Again, the power input, I can rewrite this as power output plus P loss T. That means this one. So if P loss T becomes higher and higher, the denominator will become higher and higher. So what about your efficiency? So your efficiency will keep falling if you increase the number of stages of the system. So increasing the number of systems for getting or attaining the controllability does not necessarily ensure that your system performance will improve. Rather, your speed torque will be fine-tuned more and more. But you have to see that what you are compromising. You are compromising the efficiency of the system. You are compromising the efficiency of the system. Generally, for n number of stages, your overall efficiency will be eta 1, eta 2, eta 3, dot dot dot, eta n, where n varies from 1 to n. So this will be rather small, not capital N, this is small. So n will vary from capital N to 1 to capital N. So now each of this efficiency will be less than 1. So all will be less than 1. So basically they are fractions which is less than 1. So suppose in the first stage you are getting 0.95, and in the second stage, that means your diode rectifier efficiency is 0.95 and your DC to DC converter efficiency is 0.8. Then what will be your overall efficiency? So your overall efficiency will be, let us calculate, .0. So your percentage efficiency will be 76.0. That means if you are involving a single stage, your efficiency would have been 95%. But for two stages, your efficiency has dropped to 76%. But you are getting the speed more and more controllable. That is true, very true. Maybe you can fine tune your speed and torque characteristics. Your output torque and speed, you can fine tune that. But what you are compromising? You are basically compromising the system efficiency. Here, your efficiency falls by 95 minus 76. That is equal to how much? 19%. So which is not a matter of ignorance. So 20% approximately efficiency reduction is quite priced. It is a high price to pay. So it depends that what you are sacrificing for gaining what. That is very, very important, and constantly while designing a system, you have to keep this in mind, that what you are paying to get what. It is very necessary. So when you are designing a system, say an electric drive, you have to see the following things. Number one, controllability. Number two, Number 3, cost. These three things are very, very important. So if you increase the controllability, your controllability is increasing because you are introducing multiple firing angles. But your efficiency is falling, which is not recommended. What about your cost? Your cost goes higher, which is again not recommended. So more you increase the number of stages, it will be more and more costly, and you will be sacrificing efficiency. So an optimization between all these three things, that means if there are 3 points, you have to optimize this triangle. So if you, this is controllability, this is cost, and this is efficiency. So if you want to reduce the efficiency, you have to operate at this point. You have to keep the cost lower, you have to operate at this point. Sorry, if you increase the efficiency, you have to say operate at this point. And what about your cost? Your cost should be over here, say. So you have to see the three sides of the triangle, and you have to make a precarious balance. So this is how you design a system. So see you in the next lecture.